Hello, RWBY fans, and welcome back to the AFTERBUZZ TV RWBY After Show. Tonight we're looking at Volume 4, Episodes 5 and 6, Menagerie and Tipping Point. See you after the opening.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
We're spending half of this in Space Australia. Oh my God, we have a light show.
It is officially a party.
Even better. Well, welcome back to Space Australia, everyone. How are we doing tonight?
Fantastic.
Better than if we were in Space Australia.
This is very. Did I say Space Australia? I meant
You
Fantasy
did.
Australia.
I'll take
I like
either.
space,
I'll take
though.
either.
One with it.
It's fantasy, then space, then actual Australia.
To say, I will take just not Australia at all.
All right.
All right, hello everyone. Welcome back to the AFTERBUZZ TV RWBY After Show. We are looking at Volume 4, Chapters 5 and 6, Menagerie, hence Fantasy Australia, and Tipping Point. With me today is the wonderful Patrick Dees.
What is up? How are you guys? You can find me on Twitter at Peter the Dees. Please tweet at me and tell me why you actually dig Australia.
Joining us again is the lovely Stacey Shuttleworth.
Hi guys, I'm Stacey Shuttleworth. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Stacey Shuttles or all over the web at Nerd Doing Stuff, because I'm a nerd doing stuff.
Mark is off in Fantasy Australia on a solo mission. You can find him on Twitter at Mark B. Donica. And Megan, I don't even know what Megan's doing. I think she's infiltrated the White Fang. I haven't heard from her. I'm a little worried.
That's a pretty good theory. It's not bad at all.
Pretty sure she's infiltrated the White Fang at this point.
We miss you guys.
Anyway, next time she tweets, you can find her on Twitter at The Menguin. That is TheMenguin. I am Katie Cullen. I am driving this crazy boat tonight. You can find me on Twitter at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. For those of you who are watching along on YouTube, we have the live chat. If you're not watching along on YouTube, you should be, so you can be in the live chat. We also have the hashtag RWBYABTV. You can do that on Twitter. If you have something fun to say, if you have any answers to the questions that we will be posing, throw them in the hashtag, throw them in the live chat. You may well get a shout out.
And we're not just saying that, like legitimately, it's some of my favorite part about doing the show are like some of the fan theories or people listening in, so please hit us up on that chat.
Well, and sadly, we lose the live chat after the broadcast, but the hashtag stays there. So if on Tuesday you're like, I totally wanted to say a thing, put it in the hashtag. We totally check it.
Fair enough.
Love it. So yeah, let's start with our opening question because we have, God bless him, we have son meeting the parents today.
We do.
We do. And so do we have any horribly awkward meet the parents stories?
Nothing like poor son.
Well, no, nothing like poor son. I mean, it's very rare that you're like, I'm dating this person. Her parents are the rulers of the land.
So, yeah, but with almost no context. You said that, though. You said that. Do we have any awkward stories? Like, you do. Are you, like...
No.
No, just never? They've always gone smoothly for you?
I date so infrequently
Okay.
that I don't really have any meeting the parents
fair enough,
stories.
fair enough. I actually really like that moment. I don't know. Are you that way? You've been in a relationship for some time. What was it like the first time you met his parents?
I mean, it wasn't really awkward because we had been friends beforehand.
Okay, so you kind of knew the
I've really
family.
not
It was
gone
seamless.
through this process. So
I, for one, love it. I'm actually usually even better with the mothers of the women I'm dating than the actual girl that I'm dating. We stay
So what
friends for a
happens
long
when you
time
break up?
after. It's rough. I hate losing the families, the proverbial in-laws, if you will. It's always a tough situation. So I was actually a little bit jealous of Son in this episode when he got to meet the parents and how many opportunities did he have to make a great impression? I actually really, really loved his. Well, those guys were really creepy, right? And when he was in the door, there was that silence. And
yes.
I share that a little bit with Son. Not that I'm relate to Son much at all, but I do share that. I talk far too much, and I tend to fill the silence when I'm in social situations. And so, he slams that door, and Son's sitting there, and it's there's a solid 2 beats. And I wanted to jump in just watching, so I understood him going, well, those guys were real weird. And I was like, and then the dad takes the moment to say, what does he say?
I really don't like you.
And
And I'm sitting there going, yes!
Come on. Come on, but mom likes him, and that's what matters. Your dad's never gonna as a protective older brother. I hate every guy that my sister has ever dated, except her current husband, who I'm a huge fan of. But I will say, I feel like dad's
Current husband.
current. She may upgrade in the near future. Definitely not Barb. I love you. Your husband's an amazing dude. But like,
I never got that from my older brothers. I got that from one of the cadets that we sponsored.
Oh, is that right?
A couple of years after he graduated and was serving 2 tours in Iraq, he came back and I was telling him, yeah, someone's taking me to prom. And which tells you how long ago this was. And he goes, okay, I'm going to need their name, their address, their social security number. I'm going to need to drop by and have a visit. And I'm like, Jonathan, it's okay.
Kind of blood type.
We're already friends. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's the 5 acres and a shovel talk.
His credit score's a 720. He's fine. He's fine.
And he's just like, I have an entire 2/3 of an island that's a desert and a shovel.
And I think like it's out of love though. I feel like that's all out of love. Anyway, I just kind of love that he hit it off with Mom, and Mom was vocal about it too over dinner, right? Like,
yeah.
just like,
Collie's great.
Yep.
She is.
Really, really good.
Instant love.
Right?
I adore Blake's parents so much. And we got it from chat. I got it in comments from my reaction video. The going theory is that her dad, Gira, is Bagheera from the Jungle Book, which falls in line with Supreme Leader Khan being Shere Khan, the new head of the White Fang.
Look at this. I come on the show and I learned something. This is amazing.
Our commenters are really super smart.
I totally agree.
It's the hive mind coming together with these wonderful theories and going, yeah, that sounds really good. And we do learn that Menagerie is basically fantasy Australia because it's this little island in the corner of the map, and it's populated by people. It was initially populated by people that the rest of the world wanted to forget, and it's 2/3 desert with horrifying wildlife. It's Australia.
Yeah, 100%. I'm just bummed out they didn't get the cool accent, right? Like, I literally...
Would that have made things better?
Could you have been a little more
have.
obvious?
I, for one, and I know I've got a weird sample size. Have either of you been to Australia? No. Okay, so I think I've got a weird sample size.
Half
but
of Rooster Teeth has.
Every Australian I've ever met here in the States or traveling other places, Canada or other places I've run into them. Canada, America's hat.
Kenyatta.
Yes. They're always amazing people, and I don't know if it's a function of the fact that like they're the adventurous ones that get off the island, or if the whole island is just rad central. I'm undecided on this, but I feel like part of that is the accent. So I was a little bummed out that Fantasy Australia didn't have that cool accent.
I feel like they have to band together against the spiders, so they're probably really friendly to humans for teamwork purposes. I don't know.
You're not gonna hurt me. Yeah.
You got to be able to jump in with anyone you meet to defeat these creatures.
Yeah,
I mean,
enough.
these spiders are big enough to have Final Fantasy style life bars. Forget it. Forget it.
Excellent point.
That's the best Australia Photoshop I've ever seen, is that picture of the really huge spider on the wall and someone put a life bar beneath it. I'm like, that looks about right. That's accurate.
I'm not leveled up enough to take this on.
No.
You run out of that danger zone as fast as you can.
Gonna go grind.
It's like, is it better in the city? Kind of. Oh. If we have any Australian viewers, I'm sure you're lovely people and you live in a world that I could not fathom surviving in.
They're just better people than we are. They're so tough, and they have a cool accent. I just want to be Australian.
Probably. Americans
Canadian,
are kind
I
of
take
jerks
that.
sometimes.
Here on the Ruby After
Look,
Show.
this is a safe space, right? It's just us. Nobody watches this. I know, I'm just kidding. As the whole chat's like, you're an idiot.
It's just, actually the chat is talking about the fox faunus that we got to meet, Corsic and Fennec, and I had a moment tonight because Corsic is voiced by a guy I know.
Oh, is that right?
And that was one of those moments of, yeah, his name, I need to get this right, I believe it's Derek Mears. For those of you who don't know that, he played Jason in the 2009 Friday the 13th.
Okay.
He's known for being a horror movie actor. He's very tall, so he's known for playing the big scary guys.
Yeah.
I know him from a local improv show where they basically throw each other around the stage.
Of course you do.
It's called The Resistance. They improvise an action movie, hour-long action movie every week. And so it's like, that's where I know him from. We used to go every week on the regular. And it's like, he tweeted, yeah, I voiced Corsic. And I was like, what? What?
Yep.
Yes.
It's one of those moments. It's the best.
Yeah, extremely.
Can we get back to this whole improving live action movie? That sounds incredible. You just glossed over that, right?
Sold him.
I know.
It's called The Resistance.
Do it in Australia, and I'm there.
It's at IO West.
Okay, fair
on
enough.
Friday nights at I want to say 10 p.m. So if you're LA local, go see The Resistance. No, seriously, they're amazing.
That's incredibly cool. I was lucky enough to be pulled out of the audience for Point Break Live.
Oh, God.
When they did that. I don't know if you're familiar with the premise of that, but that Keanu Reeves is so dumb and every one of his lines are so easy in that they can literally pull some random from the audience and then just put flashcards in front of you the entire time. They pull you up on a yeah, it's a
So
whole.
you got to live the dream.
I got to be Keanu Reeves. I got to be
You
Johnny
got it?
Utah.
All right, Stacey, do you have any improv stories? Since we're doing this.
Oh yeah.
Well, see,
Chat, tell us your improv show stories.
any improv. No.
This
improv
is so LA,
not,
though.
not happening. I mean, I go watch improv shows.
Fair enough.
There's some really great ones around.
It is
but
It is magic.
It is.
Fair enough.
It's a good Harry Potter one. I mean,
Australia is now
okay.
talking about spider grim
No,
Okay.
thank
and how
you.
horrifying they would be.
But I imagine that's what's out there in that desert. Just
Has to be.
tons of giant spider grit. I don't want to see that. I never want to
No.
experience that.
No.
I just,
Those really would have Final Fantasy style life bars. Can you
without that.
imagine kangaroo grim, ostrich
giant
grim?
ones, though. Oh,
Like
just-
Emu Grim,
a really
rather.
friendly
Emu
koala Grim. He's just hanging out, friends.
Aren't koalas not
Platypus
friendly
So
Grim.
at all?
friendly. So friendly.
Koala are relatively chill. Platypi are poisonous.
Look at this. This is just.
Terrifying.
It's just a platypus grim. It shows up. Whack.
Learning so much today. This is a little slice of Wikipedia. I feel like I'm learning so much
Did you
today.
really not know that platypi are poisonous? I
did not know
They
that.
have a poisonous barb.
She says that like
You
everybody.
watched Camp.
I do like Camp quite a bit. I
They
just
talked about that.
was way more like obsessed with Griffin McElroy's like 5 minutes on that and his sweet LA light up shoes than I was not concerned about the platypus.
Just glossed right over that
Are you
part.
kidding me? They're glowing shoes. Who cares about the wildlife?
Chad has latched onto the emu grim.
That's what
I'm
talking
with
about.
you guys. I'm with you.
Again, I'm glad you said emo. I thought you said emo. Like you worked like
Well,
behind
they're
the
all emo. They're black and they have red eyes and
work-
they all have like skull motifs.
That's what I
They're
was-
totally
That's
emo.
what I was getting at. They work behind the counter at your local Hot Topic. I was like, it's like
They
yeah,
are the local hot
they are
topic.
exactly. 100% agreed.
The local Hot Topic has like grimmed theme wear that you can wear, but they caution you not to wear it out in the wild or where grim actually populate because you will get murdered by hunters and huntresses who can't tell the difference in the dark. Like,
Mated with.
That realistic. Oh.
I'm sorry. I don't know.
we saw Grim get born at the beginning of this series. I don't think they mate.
Fair enough. Okay, you're
I
right.
think they just come straight from hell.
That's what your parents told you. That's how babies.
That
are born.
children come from hell.
They're just. This is. Katie got a very
common
different
myth.
version of the historic story than the rest of us got.
Well,
creative.
it explains me and my brothers. None of whom watch this.
No, fair enough.
I am amazed that we haven't gotten the off-topic button yet.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
trying.
no, seriously.
boy.
At the moment, we're living in Perry the Platypus Grim, and just everyone's having a really good time.
Fantasy
Well, but the-
Australia is really.
Fantasy
we gotta
Australia is
delve
really
into this.
cramped,
I don't feel like
and
that-
evidently Blake's dad is in charge of it.
Which is awesome. I don't think that, like, I think I'm fine with us being a little off topic because that episode wasn't that narratively dense, right? Like, I think it was a really good, like, bridge episode. It gives us a little bit, a great setup for things to come in that.
Yeah.
And obviously we got a lot with the White Fang showing up at the door, but outside of that, I don't feel like there's much to, like, kind of chew through with that episode. Am I missing something?
Okay.
I have no idea what that's supposed
Cutting
to be.
and chewing. Somebody died a very bad death. This is the soundboard at AfterBuzz. We're just trying to keep
no.
us on our toes.
No,
and make sure
Steven.
You guys wanted the off-topic thing, but I was just like, well, I just got my head chopped off and cried from your stories.
But this is so good. Like, I literally was going for that. If I get a second one, I want a
Got a
gold star
close-up
next
on
to my name.
Katie's face right now.
Yes. I just want a gif of that. I want a gif of that. This is
Okay,
Yep.
I know we mentioned Friday the 13th earlier, but we are so far in the weeds right now.
good. So we need. So what did I miss anything else? So, like, was there anything to come back to that episode? Was there anything that I missed from like a? Because again, I go back to that phrase, but it's not that narratively dense. We didn't learn a ton. I think it's a great setup
It
episode.
was mostly
but
character introductions.
yeah,
We
it
learned that Gira used to be the lead. I almost called him the lead of the Hot Topic. The lead of the White Fang.
just I'm calling them the hot topic for the rest of our series run.
You know, the White
Yeah,
Fang are the
yeah.
people that shop at Fantasy Hot Topic.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah.
And buy
They
the
wanna
grim.
be
They
grim.
got, that's where they got
wanna
the
be.
grim
Yeah,
masks.
totally.
That's
They were totally
absolutely
in
where the
style.
grim
No
mask came from.
question. Yep.
And it was buy one get one 50%
Yep.
off the store. I mean, they just had to.
And then they used their whatever, like Hot Bucks or whatever the heck they're called. I don't remember.
Hot bucks. Okay, so
Yeah,
I
they're
thought you were
reward-
talking about an Australian hot box, which is a whole other thing.
No, that's different.
But so we did learn that they were like in cahoots with Adam, right? There was a little bit of that whole
Yeah.
like propaganda, like, hey,
They were
that
saying-
happened so far away.
Yeah, so-
We'd heard that there was a splinter branch, but we couldn't confirm anything until everything literally went to hell in
Right.
your kingdom.
Yep.
But we have all of these policies in place, and we have a plan of action, and here's the paperwork, and do you want to see it?
we're working on it. Our noses are clean. We're good.
And then
I
they
mean,
walk away and crank the creepy back up to 11. Be like, should
done
we
with the
tell
music
brother
in the
Adam?
background. Ugh.
So they're just making Fantasy Australia great again. That's
Just,
what they're doing.
oh God.
Every episode, I'm going to get a Trump reference in. Every
all I could-
single
God
episode.
forbid. God forbid.
Sorry. It's
Only
the
if
post-truth
it's-
era. I'm just saying. That's where we live now.
Only if it's an impeachment reference.
Yep.
Anyway, that got supremely political. Yeah, they called each other brother and sister, and
Yep.
I worry about any, cult. That I worry about
Yeah,
cults in
definitely.
general.
Yeah,
but-
100% it came across that way, right?
And we've seen that before, kind of in earlier episodes,
Yeah.
where it is a very close to a cult-like environment.
Yeah.
So we
It
have,
basically is a cult.
It is, and we have this weird kind of disparity where it's like, hey, no, actually the Faunas are treated like crap, and it is a problem. But then the White Fang, who maybe once were trying to do something about it, now has kind of devolved into this cult-like atmosphere.
Sure.
So it does set up a lot of really interesting
They
questions.
become the Church of Scientology. Except
Be it.
stunningly violent.
Adam is their Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
Seeing that man run.
We do have a BG Titan avatar in the chat bringing up Sister Elia.
Yes, Blake has a connection, apparently.
Yeah, has that the first time that name's been dropped?
As far as I know, I think so. I mean, it's really the first time we've seen Blake having a connection other than
Right.
Adam in the White Fang.
Right.
It's true.
Yep. I'd throw that to chat because I feel like that hive mind would probably know better than us. But yeah, I also hadn't picked up on
Well,
it before.
chat's on about a minute delay, so
Fair
we'll
enough.
see. I kept waiting for a Sister Mary Elephant joke because that's all I could. Thank you for knowing what that was, because that's all I could think. Of old comedy bit.
Fair enough. Literally ones
About a
of
nun.
people watching this knew that. Ones across
You
this
know
country.
what? As long as someone gets it, it's good.
Up top.
But
what I'm talking about.
that's all I could think of is there a Sister Mary that's an elephant faunus? I need to know this.
Maybe we'll find out this season.
Or I need the fan fiction. I don't think that's a
Nope.
Rooster Teeth kind of joke. Not the fan fiction,
No.
the fan art. Rather, I could use both. Send me your recommendations. Let's go diving. Yeah, do we have anything else to say about Magic Australia? Fantasy Australia. It's Australia!
Well, another thing that was kind of interesting was Sun's kind of complete lack of knowledge concerning Menagerie.
Yeah.
Even though he
grew up in
himself is
Vacuole.
right. Even though he himself
but-
is a faunus. So is it kind of like a distant thing for some of the kingdoms?
I would imagine if he didn't grow up there, he wouldn't know. Like, I'm Irish, but I didn't
Yeah.
grow up in Ireland.
No, but you have
Driving
a-
on the other side of the road was like, what the heck am I doing when
True,
I
but-
went?
But you had a fundamental understanding that they drive on the other side of the road. Like, you knew what it was. He showed up and he's like, what is this magic world that I'm in? Like, I've
happening?
never... Yeah, exactly. Like,
It's
he showed
also
up...
sun.
I mean, okay.
I'll give you that. I
All
will
right.
give you that.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
a very fair
Count-
point.
count-
That's
Counterpoint.
it. Yep, it's sun.
counterpoint.
I rest my case.
Yep. Yeah, no,
Right.
okay. Yeah.
And everyone
shit.
continues to go, God, Katie, why
that-
do you hate Sun so much? I don't hate Sun,
He's a lovely
but it's really funny to make fun of how dumb he is.
Just, I empathize with that man so much. It's
I
scary.
know,
It says so
I know.
much.
But it's
I know,
funny.
I
He's
know.
precious, but
He is precious.
really is tragic sometimes.
Is he part of your team, Hot and Useless?
He is.
All right.
Him and Neptune.
Fair enough.
Scarlet and Sage are good in my
Yep,
book
okay,
because
okay.
they actually did things, but Sun and Neptune, man,
I do
forget
like
it.
me some Neptune too. I
Forget it.
like the dumb ones on the show.
You do.
I do. I don't know.
You do. Who are your other
endearing.
favorite characters?
I'm gonna stick with Sun and Neptune. I'm gonna like. Actually, I would
The
say
junior
of the core
police
four,
detectives.
I think Blake is my favorite, and this is like so. Anytime we get a little, any more glimpse into like her backstory or anything, Blake from the core four is my favorite. I don't think it's even close.
Okay, Chad has been saying that Elia has not been mentioned before.
Thank you, chat.
And Malachrome is saying she might have a surname that we haven't heard because Elia doesn't seem to be a color or a reference.
Sure.
And Michael Halpern points out that Menagerie doesn't have a CCT and no one is using a scroll. So there's not a heck of a lot of communication that goes back and forth.
Also fair enough.
Right.
Yeah.
Because as far as the rest of the world is concerned, faunus aren't important? Question mark?
Maybe it's a choice. Maybe they want to be technologically isolated.
It could be. I feel like there's a lot we don't know.
Yep.
And especially because we're coming from a place where we really haven't seen it in the schools. Because in the academies, it seems to be fairly easily integrated without really much prejudice. And then we're kind of stepping out into this world, and it's like, no, wait, there's a ton of prejudice. You just haven't. You've been in this sheltered little bubble. So it's a weird kind of.
It's like going to college.
There you go.
Sure. But his son is shocked, though, right? His son goes like, "You don't know?" Like, he couldn't believe that word hadn't got back to Fantasy Australia. So I don't know. You're right. It's a great point.
Yeah, there's probably not a heck of a lot of communication. They get people on boats spreading what news they know, but they don't. Well, for one, the CTT is down, just broken.
Sure.
Well, and realistically, they've probably been only listening to what the White Fang is coming to report to them.
That's a good
so
point.
if they're saying everything's good, we're cool, it's fine. White Fang's just going on.
There is no war in Bossing Say.
Right.
That reference. That's my favorite reference. That it is.
There's dead silence over here.
Kindred spirits
I'm
are
like,
like,
I did it again.
Feeling like sun over here. I'm like,
I just had
sure.
to bask in my favorite reference.
Have you
any
not
time.
seen Avatar: The Last Airbender?
It's on my shame. I've started it like 3 times. I've been told over and over again, hey, look, this is something. Like people who like recommended Doctor Who and like Battlestar Galactica. No, my favorite shows.
Nice things. Go watch Avatar.
See,
The Last
I've been
Airbender.
like 3 times. I can't.
It's on. Isn't it on Netflix still?
It is everywhere. Yes.
Okay,
Do
yeah,
it.
no, all right.
Do the
Okay.
I
thing.
will
Win the
lend you
stuff. Oh my
physical
god.
DVDs.
I've just kind of okay.
Do it.
I love this support
Do it,
group
do it,
here.
do
I
it.
love this.
It's more like
go back.
driving the Enable bus.
Okay, I can get behind that. And then I'm gonna go back and comment on this YouTube video later, and there's big all caps. I get it. Got it.
I get it.
Part of this
There is
whole
no war in Bossing Say.
True story.
All right, let's move on to tipping point.
I like it.
I'm
I like
sure
it.
if we forgot anything, chat will be sure to let us know.
Sure thing.
This episode, though, let's break it into the 2 separate parts because we have our intrepid team of heroes traveling, and we have Weiss. So let's talk about Weiss for a little bit.
Let's.
In the party from hell.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like
We saw her performance first, right?
Yeah.
She performed, and then
and
we
that
went
was
right
a
to that
song
party.
about like my life is my own. I won't be bought by your money. I'm like that might not. You're not really playing to your audience here, but they're applauding politely.
Right. It was a surprisingly kind of out there song for her to sing.
I am surprised her dad approved it.
I was gonna say, so
am
Dad
I.
didn't choose the song, right? Like he basically,
know.
because he forced her to sing, right? Like he didn't force her, but he kind of just said, "You're gonna sing," right? Smiling.
Yeah.
So I felt like,
We want you to sing.
right. And so I felt like that was a big like, okay, Dad, you're gonna put me on the stage. I'm gonna sing what I'm gonna sing.
I feel like there was a Phantom of the Opera reference to be made about Dad and Junior sitting in box 3. Box 3 is to be left for my use. Megan would know if she were here. That is her thing.
Sure thing.
She'd give me the 8 lines surrounding that and the correct box number.
Fair enough.
I appreciate that a lot.
So did you like the performance?
Phantom is Megan's thing. I can do Hamilton. It was okay.
Okay.
I mean, it's not my favorite song I've ever heard
Sure.
from Ruby, but it's really hard to top I Burn, so that's me. At the party afterwards, have you guys ever been to one of these formal parties where it's like, I'm here, I need to leave, oh God?
Frequently. I do this a lot for like
Do
professionally.
tell.
No, so I do a lot of entertaining professionally. I work in technology, and there are a lot of very self-congratulatory parties that I was gonna say lucky enough to attend, and some of them are great. Like I think you have to pick your spots and find the people that speak your language, if you will.
Next to the bar?
And yes, and that certainly helps. So yeah, I mean, that definitely, can empathize with the scene, tremendously. There have been on the regular on places that I don't want to be around people who I don't want to be talking to. So it's, again, finding your spots. And she was lucky enough or unlucky enough to find somebody that was, like, literally said everything that, like, wrong, right? Like,
The worst things.
The worst, right? She was not in a space to be getting that. And, like...
Henry Marigold.
Marigold.
It's interesting that we got a first and last from him, which implies that he might be back. Because I feel like Marigold is like, it's a family name.
His
Well,
hair-
I've never heard of you.
Yes.
His hair was cool enough to bring back. He kind of had the half, like, it was cut. And
He
then it
was like
up
high
and-
rent Neptune.
Yeah.
Again,
I like Neptune better.
swimming upstream. Okay, all right, fair enough.
There was a term for him, and it was something Neptune, and I'm blanking on what that term was. Hopefully chat will know.
So did you like his intro? So being awesome young ladies that you are, I'm sure men come up to you often, or women or whatever, but like I'm sure you're hit on to whatever degree, and you're at a party. Did you like his intro? Like, was it appropriate? Did you think it was endearing, or was it just gross and get out of my space?
If you're at a party to work which is basically what Weiss was doing, the last thing you want is to be hit on by some stranger. And I say that having been at work events where I had to be there working and getting hit on by alumni. Like, friends, no, I am here to check you in, not check you out.
Sure. Wow, well, I like that. That should be right on the name tag. Hello, my name is Katie. I'm here to check you in, not check you out. But like, there's a distinction, right, between like I'm here like serving at a party or like
Discount Neptune.
Oh, I like that.
That's what Indigo in the chat says. Discount Neptune.
Yeah, I can find that.
All right.
Yeah, so you were saying.
I just think there's a distinction between like if you're at a party and you are part of the like support crew, you're like serving or like I do this at a restaurant, right? Like I love it when, or I really am uncomfortable when I'm in a group of people who then choose to then hit on a waitress or waiter. And because they're paid to be nice to you, right? They are not there. They're not in a position where, like, again, they're paid to be nice to you, and their tip and their livelihood depends on building a rapport with you. And I think that's gross. And so, like, I think it's a distinction.
That's happened to me.
Okay, I feel like I need to hear this story. But there's when you're both guests at a party, I think that's fair game. So, like, again, if you're not being intrusive and you're being polite and you're not being gross, like, start up a conversation with somebody that you're interested in. That's fine. I think there's a distinction when it's like, hey, I'm paid to be here and I don't want to have to be nice to you and now you're hitting on me and this is uncomfortable because I have to continue to smile because that's my job, but go away. Anyway, I don't know. What was your story?
Well, first of all, evidently Megan is watching and she has corrected me. It is box 5.
I love it, Megan.
I'm sorry for driving your boat off a cliff.
We miss you,
somehow.
Megatron.
Yes, come back, Lord Megatron. Yeah, I used to work at On the Border during college, which we don't have any of those out here, but it is Tex-Mex. It's actually pretty good.
It's on the border of good taste.
I like it.
I'm sorry. I grew up in Arizona. I love this stuff. Totally with you. No, yeah, for sure.
And the way our store was set up for the kitchen, you have an indoor and an outdoor. And if you go into the outdoor, you are going to run into someone carrying a plate of fajitas that's heated to like 300 degrees on those iron skillets. So you go out the outdoor and in the indoor. Well, the outdoor faced an area of tables that I had to walk by to get to my section. And so one day I was just, you make eye contact, you look at tables. Does anyone need water? Does anyone need chips? And about the third time that I walk by this table that's right on the corner, like right there, the guy waves me down. I'm like, yeah, can I get anything for you? Well, I noticed that you've been looking at me and I think we've made a connection. So can I have your number? And I'm sitting here going,
wow.
Oh God, how do I do this?
I kind of love.
No. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I don't think my boyfriend would appreciate that. And I walked away, and I'm like, I have been single for years.
That's fair.
That is
That's what you sent a message. It was clear. It's bold.
Just like, no. I am working. I am doing my job. You are not my table.
It's bold.
Stop.
Discount Neptune wasn't so gross though. I felt like there was like kind of he literally referenced it. He came back and he said that was my attempt to break the ice. Like this is what's going on here. I just want to talk to somebody who's not that crowd at least.
He started okay.
I know totally. I agree.
He started okay.
Yes.
And then it turned into, oh, what's this for? Oh, I don't really care. I'm just here for the food. And I'm like, I have gone to parties for that reason. Not gonna lie.
Yep.
But
again,
I know what party they are, and if it's a fundraiser, I know where I am, and I tip a few bucks in the bucket. And it's just like, you have to have some form of awareness of where you are and what you're doing.
I kind of loved it.
And he didn't care.
I would have gone home with the man. Look, he literally referenced.
Why do I feel like that's not a high bar?
He was so. Yeah, it's true. I'm really easy. Buy me a few drinks, any man can take me home. My point is, it's gonna definitely. That's gonna live on at some point. I'm sure in some way that I don't want it to. My point is.
D to the DZ.
That's a triple word score right there. I'm really impressed with that.
Hey!
My point is, he referenced it. It was so transparent. And I love that in conversation. Like I think candor generates speed, and I really like people who want to get to know you and are candid about who they are and why they're there or whatever. And like I love that he just went like, no, like legit, I'm straight here for the food. Like to me that's so refreshing, as opposed to putting on some pretense that he actually gave a damn about why they were there.
Okay. And I can agree with that to an extent,
sure.
And maybe to anyone other than Weiss.
Yes. I agree. Know your room.
Wrong
right,
person.
I know your room.
Yang
for
probably
sure.
would have laughed.
Right, Yang would have loved it.
It would have been a totally different social situation in that
That's
case.
true.
I feel.
It would have been in a bar.
Yeah, but for Weiss,
At
like
that
where
moment?
her mindset is at that moment in
Yep.
the setting she's in, that is the worst
No,
possible thing you could come and do.
And honestly, be able to read your audience a little bit. Like, he knew it wasn't going well. Like, pull the ripcord. Like, you don't need to continue to, like, be a presence. Totally. I'll give you some space or whatever. Like, and be polite about it. I don't know. Anyway, I liked his candor.
I'm rich and my family name gets me many things. Hello, let's date. Leave.
No, it wasn't that bad. I would go home with that.
And then
No, I'm
to
just
make
kidding. I'm just-
yeah, no, we know.
I know, I
Easy.
know.
And then to make things worse, you know, we have that conversation, and then we have the. I love the way they do the audio for this, where you hear one person and then the rest of the background audio just drops out
Yep.
because suddenly focus is on you. You're the
Yep.
only person that's important. I love that audio technique so much. And it's just this person talking about, well, they deserve what they got. They didn't have the
Right.
right defenses. And I'm like, oh, friend,
Here we
you
go.
just condoned an attempted genocide. Let's talk about that. And her poor husband, I assume, boyfriend, whomever. Oh, you were saying the same thing last night. And he's just like, I would like the floor to swallow me, like, right now.
Right.
That'd be great.
Instant regret.
Can the floor just, why aren't you working with me, floor?
Well, so and then what?
Man.
But then keep going though, right? Because like Weiss then falls. Is that what happens next?
She starts yelling at her, gets mad for
Right.
a dang
That's
good
right. That's right.
reason.
Yep.
Her dad grabs her and tells her
That's
to stop.
what it is.
And then she
Yanks
pulls
the arm.
away
Okay. Falls.
and does a successful summon.
But so that's what felt weird to me.
good one.
It was awesome. So did
Yeah.
you guys get this impression too? When she fell, it felt like she yanks free, she falls, the summon happens, and it felt like it was an accident. That she was just so
yeah.
spun up.
Oh, yeah.
And it felt
Yeah.
like, but that's, to me, that was a weird disconnect. Because you feel like if there's going to be a successful summon, that it would be like very intentional and focused. And she just felt like she slipped. It felt like a loaded gun that she falls and then the gun shoots. And that was weird to me.
Okay, they kind of have talked about how you learn that power through like heightened emotions and
Yeah,
sometimes
you're right,
it
you're right.
drops. So
Excellent
I think,
point.
and we've kind of seen it trying to break free a couple of times
Yeah.
now, and usually
Yeah.
it is when she's highly distressed.
Sure.
And I mean, I think now that is one of the most distressing situations you
Sure,
can be in.
yeah,
You
yeah.
are away from your friends, you're away from all the people you care about, locked in this society that you are quickly. I mean, she was probably never too crazy about it, but back at the beginning of the series, she was definitely much more of a person who would have fit into that scene.
Into being a schnee.
Right.
Yep.
And we have a really good comment in the chat from Malachroma, which I'm going to start keeping a bingo board
Boom.
of Malachroma's awesome comments because we get so many of those. Weiss summoned the Borbatusk under the same emotional state she was in when she killed it. Embarrassed, angry, resentful of someone trying to impose authority over her.
Boom.
Yes!
It's incredibly insightful, Malachroma.
That is
Yes!
fantastic.
As per usual. Yeah.
Can we just bring you on the panel? Can we do that? Do you want to come and just like sit with us and just
Be amazing.
man?
It'd be amazing. Yeah. Good
A
call.
plus analysis.
But again, I
And
would
that's
hope
the
that
first
summon.
time. Go ahead.
I would hope that summons be like intentional as opposed to, and maybe she's still learning, right? Like being able to kind of control that. So that just took me a minute.
Well, and I think they will be intentional as it goes on,
sure.
but they've talked about Weiss being too much in her own head to be able to make it work.
Right.
And the last time we saw a successful summon was in the climactic battle
Yep.
of last season
Yep.
when everything was going to hell.
Sure.
And even then she managed an arm. She didn't manage the whole
Right.
Pacific Rim robot.
Yep.
And so she managed the whole thing. And it was moving autonomously, going after
Yeah.
what was perceived as her enemy. So she's getting there.
You realize that's the new bar though for summons as a Pacific Rim robot. Like that's all I
Da-da-da,
want.
da-da-da.
That is all I
Until we
want.
get that,
Yeah.
it's just no satisfaction.
Rocket arm engaged.
She will eventually summon a Jaeger. It'll be great.
all I want.
It'll be great.
That movie's so
Rocket
good.
fists.
That movie's so good. He stabs that thing in
Elbow
space.
rockets, that's what it was.
Rocket arm engage or whatever. Elbow rocket engage.
Elbow
So
rockets.
people have asked if you like that term, you're really gonna love the movie, right? Like if you don't get that, then just not your film. It's so good. That'd be an
Yes.
amazing summons. Is my point.
And we're getting a sequel with Joe Biden.
Yes, we are.
I'll lose my mind over that in a different show, I'm sure. But that we're starting to run a little short on
We are.
time. And we have many
yeah.
things to talk about. So that's definitely Weiss's half of things, and thank goodness for Ironwood for being there. And I don't think that's anything I would have ever said last season.
Liking him more and more. I
so
know,
awesome.
episode.
I
like
know,
like a boss just putting that
man.
thing down. It was incredible.
She's the
And
only one
stands
making
up
any
for
sense
Weiss.
around this insane asylum.
Yes. So yeah, not only does he just handle that thing like a boss, but then he stands up for Weiss,
Totally.
and he's making it very clear where he stands right now and how he feels.
And struts off. Like
and
later, I wanted him to drop the gun. Just boom.
Like, son.
Deuces, son. That'd have been
Well, and
incredible.
he is one of 2 people in the room who was actually there.
Yeah.
The other person
Yeah,
being
for
Weiss.
sure.
Right.
Yep.
So it's like, yeah, all of you have absolutely no idea what happened, but we definitely witnessed Grimm attacking students.
Yep.
So yeah, that just... It sucks when you're in a room with a whole bunch of people who just don't have a clue.
It's going to be interesting
yeah.
to see what happens next, right?
Well, yeah, especially what Papa Schnee, comes up with.
Papa Schnee is such a funny thing to say, isn't it?
It felt really funny.
It felt
I think that's the
but with
first
the
time.
mustache,
speak
it
for
works.
Schnees.
Like you want to buy Papa Schnee's cornflakes or whatever. Like I feel like they're like a breakfast cereal mascot.
No, it's gonna be
Papa
like
Schnee's this morning. It's part of a complete breakfast.
It's gonna be this horribly low rent vodka that purports itself to be fancy.
I would drink me some
Papa
Papa
Schnee's
Schnee's
fancy vodka.
fancy
Oh,
vodka,
God,
and
what
go home with low
dear.
rent Neptune. That is my weekend.
Evidently, if you have a water filter like a Brita or anything like that, you can put cheap vodka through it a couple times and it'll be better. Because vodka quality has a lot to do with how many times it's filtered.
Drinking tips, folks.
That's amazing
This is why you come to
information.
this. You need to understand about geography and drinking tips, and then Jaegers. So
You
we got
can
all
never
of this.
use that.
Both kinds of Jaegers.
You can never use that Brita filter again.
No, you certainly-
Not for
Except
water,
for
at least.
vodka.
Except for vodka. This is not a
Fine.
problem.
It's fine.
People are learning so much. God, I hope we don't have anyone underage watching.
No, couldn't
Keep-
ever
so
happen.
Keep that in
Informative.
your back pocket until you're of legal drinking age for your country. But keep it in your back pocket.
Which is like 12 in Australia, right? Like just bring it on back to Fantasy Australia. Just they're drinking
about
right
Australia.
now.
Australians have
Only
seen
reasons they
some
could tune us
stuff,
in.
man.
Yeah.
Australians have seen some stuff. They're just like, there was a spider in my room today.
Yeah.
You're
I
just
killed
gonna
it with a
start
book.
With a boot.
A book. With anything. Just kill it. Yeah, and our intrepid heroes run into an unexpected city.
Speaking of killing, yeah.
We get a little bit of Ruby really not understanding how big the world is, which I think is adorable.
It's kind of great.
It was a good moment.
It's like I grew up in a small town. I'm like, oh, you were homeschooled.
Yeah. Poor little child. She's learning so much.
She is. Like I thought it would take 3 weeks. Sure. How quickly do you plan on walking? And they run into a city called Oniyuri,
Yep.
Yes.
which is only about half a city at this point in time, because evidently this is where some of the elite decided we don't like the kingdom, we don't like the council. We are going to secede from the United States and do our own thing. We're going to be the Republic of Texas.
Yep.
But obviously they weren't nearly as badass as Texas because Grimm occurred, and that, yeah, the city is half finished and abandoned and ostensibly had Ren's parents in it when it went
Yeah.
under.
Which we've been waiting for that payoff for a while, right?
Yes.
Like with that,
Because
Ren's
we
backstory,
knew,
yeah.
we knew that Ren and Nora didn't have anyone to go home
Right,
to.
right.
I had assumed that it had happened in the same chunk of time or for the same reason.
Right.
But
Right.
evidently it is separate reasons, and this was Ren's.
Yeah, so now we're learning that he is a member of the wealthy class, and also that for some reason his parents did not have him with him, or did not keep him with them.
Well, yeah, I'm going to take my tiny child out into the wilderness and try to build it. It's not the Oregon Trail.
Well, I guess if
I
they're
mean,
that
there's
rich,
worse things
that's
than there's
fair.
worse things than bears and dysentery in the woods here. Fantasy dysentery.
Fantasy
Fantasy.
sounds
I'm adding
terrible.
fantasy.
It's dust related. It sounds
You
terrible.
put fantasy in front of it, it's
Yes.
fine. We're good.
Fantasy dysentery sounds terrible.
But
Sounds terrible.
yeah, someone
Awful.
pointed out that John drops the map. Like, yeah, he needs to stop doing that.
It really does.
I'm having a
happening.
Blair Witch Project moment of where's the map? Oh, I threw it away.
I was
Stop, just stop.
surprised. I dropped it, and I forgot to pick it up.
I think that's a perfectly valid excuse for dropping things. I feel like
I was
I'm
surprised that I
going to
dropped
use it more frequently.
If it shows up again, I'm gonna be like, I need that deleted scene where he goes back after this whole big climactic fight that we're in the middle of and picks up the map. Or they have to go back 2 days worth of travel because they forgot the map. Like,
They'll just wing it for a while. They'll find a city and get a new one.
It'll be fine.
Maps on their scrolls? I don't understand.
It worked for the Blair Witch Project. They don't have GPS. GPS is down. All their satellites are
That's a
dead.
good point. It's a good point.
Yeah.
Which would be a nightmare.
Tell me about it.
Yep.
Yeah, so we need to talk about Tyrion. We need to talk
do.
about the Scorpion Joker here.
How
Because
did you guys feel about it? Yeah. I really actually didn't like. I I didn't like Tyrion's introduction. I think we talked a little bit about it on the show. I thought it was a little over the top, like a little over the nose. And here's this rogues gallery, and here's this guy, and he's manic, and he's weird, and like, okay, I get it. And then they faded to black on his stupid manic laugh, and I'm like, come on. The show's done a really good job of not being so on the nose. And I thought this episode was kind of cool, right? Like when we saw him in action, he seemed, I don't know, there was a hook there for me that wasn't present when we first kind of met him.
Okay.
I loved it. He's a fanatic for Salem, and it points out just how much our main characters don't know about the bigger overarching story.
Yep.
And I'm a little worried about the fact that he's interested in Jean, because that bodes so poorly for Jean.
Oh, I know what is going on there.
Just standing on his shield and inspecting him.
He goes, oh, you.
Like, I just, it's hard to do a really good chaotic evil character, and I think they've done it with him. And then just, hello, he's a scorpion faunus.
Great.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's probably my favorite part of this whole episode.
That was a nice reveal.
It was great, right?
That was a fantastic reveal.
So break it down to me, though. Again, the slow one on this side of the table. How is it that Nora's hammer didn't hurt him?
He blocked it with his tail, with the stinger.
It was the tail?
It was the tail.
Okay, so I wasn't sure if there was
It was
some
an
weird
awkward
property
shot.
that scorpions...
Yeah, it was
I needed to
weird,
watch it
right?
a second time.
You did? Okay, good. Because I was like,
Yeah.
is that just because scorpions are weirdly resistant to, like, hammers? I wouldn't know.
No, he was
So confused.
Scorpions are not weirdly resistant to hammers.
So confused.
Yeah, that just,
He was fun. But well, okay. So I'm gonna go back a second to
Do it.
just how when he's like, oh, the one he worships, and he starts going off, and he's like, you mean Cinder?
Right.
And that really was kind of
only
like
in her dreams.
this has been a children's game up until this point. I mean, they were fighting on a school ground. They're fighting as school children.
They were playing checkers. It's a chess game.
Yeah, and Cinder, and it also kind of serves to show that Cinder herself, too, is still very much in this childish realm.
Yeah. She's still playing checkers, too. Mm-hmm. Tiger Frost in the chat points out Jean needs to stop getting in trouble with scorpions. Yes. Okay. Did that...
Most things do.
In season 1, he ran into the giant scorpion grip, the Deathstalker, or whatever they're called.
Right.
Yeah,
Excellent callback. Okay.
It's a beautiful callback. Well done, you guys.
I feel like that you could have been like, no, he met that weird like grim panda, and then they had a tea, and then they hung out, and like you literally could have sold me anything in that particular moment. I would have been like, oh yeah, totally. Like what? Patrick, do you even watch this show?
Watching him
Which
fight
Ruby are you
was
watching?
incredible. Watching the fight choreography for this and seeing just how outclassed our main characters are by someone who's been doing this for years.
Yeah.
You can be talented, you can be lucky, but you're still going to get outstripped by someone with that skill set.
Sure.
Within minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just dismantled, right?
I mean, completely destroyed.
But I feel like we also needed a little bit of that disparity so we could have Crow's introduction.
Which was a great run-up.
That was a cool guys don't look at explosions introduction.
Totally.
Yeah. Oh my god, without a doubt.
And so no part of you thought that they, I don't know, kind of insinuated that Sting punctured the sword, or you think he 100% blocked it?
I thought that at first.
You did?
Actually, through the first watch through, I was like, did that go, did he just get stabbed?
Yep.
I'm pretty sure he blocked it. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been so
I
high.
Yeah,
I think
it's
so too.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's okay.
I look good.
We're gonna see
doing
a
it.
good fight.
It was pretty great.
Hey
It was pretty
friends,
great.
hey friends, hey niece, how have you been?
It was pretty
I
great.
missed you.
I get to fight now. Here we go. Yeah.
And just Josh Greeley is killing it as Tyrion, quite literally. Just he does. I just keep hearing Mark Hamill Joker.
Oh, it's an
And
amazing
he
voice.
does a really
that
good
he's
one, and
pulling
that
out.
laugh.
Yeah.
I think Mark
nailed.
Hamill is in a whole other class. I would disagree. Tyrion's interesting for sure, but I mean, I think that's like one of the great performances of all time, as far as I'm concerned. And right now, Tyrion's got to earn it a little bit for me. We'll see what he does.
I think he's on the right trajectory.
I would agree. I would agree.
Well, Tyrion's the same category of villain, but we've had the Joker for 80 years at this point.
Sure, but like Mark Hamill walked into that role and owned it, and in fact redefined it. And I would assert that's even harder than taking a Tyrion character and kind of creating it. I feel like that role carries with it a ton of baggage. I think to some degree Mark Hamill will always be my Joker.
Again, you're taking a bottle of Jack and comparing it to like 150-year-old French whatever whiskey.
But
like,
then I bought a filter, a Brita, and I just kept pouring it in.
I don't know if that works for whiskey. I know it works for vodka.
He's gonna find out for us. So
Oh God, here we
What I'm
go.
doing after this, follow me on Twitter.
I'm just gonna filter Jack half a dozen times.
Sounds terrible.
Oh, could you imagine?
Yeah. Mal, I saw what you threw in the hashtag, but nobody here speaks Yuri on Ice. Unless you do,
Hi, hello. As a matter of fact, next Monday, this Monday. What if?
So that's a thing. Because I guess Josh Greeley voiced them both.
Yes, he does.
Check the hashtag, y'all.
That's beautiful.
Check the hashtag.
I'm into it.
Malachroma's having a grand old time. Another piece of fan art in there because they're amazing. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yuri on Ice after show. We're doing one.
Monday the 19th.
Which I think I'm just going to tune into your show. Not because I've watched it or care. You guys, though, are so passionate. So I'm telling you at home, if you watch Yuri on Ice and you have even the slightest bit of interest, come check this out because they know it, they love it, they're talking about it incessantly, and it's going to be something magic. Incessantly.
Surprised people are still talking to me in my real life. Like, oh my god, it's so bad. It's so bad.
We will
She's
get
at the
to that when
grocery
we do
store.
the advertisements because
I'm
I
just
think
saying.
Mark is also
Tune
on
in,
it.
yes.
And then
Yes.
Alexis and Emma, which you guys would know from every other geek panel that we do
Why to
here.
tune is my point. I'm going to watch.
Excited.
I'm going
We
to be
just have
active
this
in the chat.
extremely
ask
tangled
you for
Venn
drinking
diagram
tips.
of nerds. Okay, is there anything else we need to cover for this?
I don't think
Aside
so.
from Nora getting and that electric snipe is glorious.
That was great.
Did Ruby shoot her on purpose?
Yes.
Yes.
I loved it.
Yes.
Loved
Yeah,
it.
because
I'm
the
just making
electricity
sure.
power up.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
There was a moment it was like, oh wow, he dodged that really fast.
Right.
And I was like, oh no,
Oh,
wait.
yeah.
It's like, wait, no,
Got
he
it.
didn't move.
Following.
And
No.
just his reaction of, oh, that's unfortunate.
How did that
Wait,
happen?
why is everyone smirking? I don't.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
Got it.
Which and think that that's the that move itself was a very childish one. They're sitting there looking all smug, like oh yeah,
Like children.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Clearly outclassed.
yeah, and he's like okay, well clearly something's coming. Here
Right.
we go.
Well,
Yep.
and powered up Nora is usually a heavy enough hitter to just kind of clear the field.
It's over. Yep.
So this was, it's like, and here's my big special. Shoot, this is bad.
yeah,
I love Nora
Well,
so
and
much.
Hopefully, it's really eye opening for them too.
I mean, I know they understand that there are people outside of their power bracket. They understand maidens. They've kind of fought one-ish.
Yeah.
But they haven't actually run into anything like this before and had to deal with it. And
Let's
I
get-
think they wouldn't have been able to had Crow not shown
Oh,
up.
absolutely not. There would have been very little hope. They needed Crow to kind of come in and save
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
I mean, in this case, they've got a long way to go. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they start bridging that gap. Because at this point in time, they can't really do anything
Right.
in
No.
this war. They are not. They're capable and they're very good, but they are not nearly on the level of being able to handle this.
Right.
Yeah, they just don't have the cumulative experience. There are people out there who have been fighting for longer than they have been alive.
Right.
Right.
And it's good to represent us as viewers to that fact because I think you lose that context a little bit when they're always fighting the grim and winning and the choreography's so awesome and you're like, our guys are the best. And then
Yeah.
then you see the big people fight and you're like, okay, got it.
And you kind of go, oh, jeez.
Yep.
Whole other
Yeah,
level.
this occurred. This occurred. Oh, right. Do we have anything else to cover for this episode?
I don't think so. I think that was a great way to end it.
That was really abrupt. Can we do predictions? Or are we out of time?
We are out of time, it looks like. Are we doing predictions?
Now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, we get a little bit of both. Dees, you want to start us off?
Yeah, I don't know that I've got a lot to work with, but I do hope, I'm more of a hope, less of a prediction. I hope that they leave this and Crow starts this Mr. Miyagi role. That he's no longer the luck in the background, that he's traveling actively with them and instructing them as they go. So we start to see, this is the start of their arc of being more capable and would love to see that charge being led by Ruby and learning from Crow in that drunken Mr. Miyagi sense of the word. I want some painting of some fences. I want some washing of the cars, all that.
Yeah, I can definitely see that happening. And I think, it has to. They need someone to
Yep,
train them,
yep.
and they need someone to train them seriously.
I agree.
At this point. I'm also kind of interested to see what Tyrion, or, what else we learn about Jean and why Tyrion is so interested in him.
That's true.
Kind of what's going on there. And I'm kind of torn on how I feel about that. Part of me wants, this big reveal where Jean has this big, important role and, this really cool historical link that makes him, epic.
Oh, do you think?
But
He's named after Joan of Arc.
well,
I mean, I
okay.
agree.
Yes, but and then another part of me is like, no, but also, what if he just works really hard and becomes an awesome fighter?
That's what I want.
And most of me is like, yeah, that would actually be way better.
And
Like,
we've been working with that. We've seen him practice. We've seen all of that. I would like to think that Tyrion is just interested him in a cat and mouse sort of
100%.
fashion.
I kind of like
Like,
that
there's
more.
nothing
It's darker.
special about you. I'm just intrigued.
Yeah, for sure. It's darker.
and that would go with his chaotic.
I like that
really
so
would.
much more.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm honestly not sure that everyone's going to survive this fight. And I will be
With Tyrion?
intrigued to see. Yeah.
Ooh, we think Crow's going to be with us?
I don't know. I have absolutely no idea, and I will be intrigued to see how it goes down,
All right.
because I'm fairly certain that whatever I try to predict, Rooster Teeth's just going to be like, you didn't even think of this possibility,
Yep,
did
fair
you?
enough.
Here you
Did
go.
All right, I am going to take like 40 seconds of your time to talk about iTunes, and then we will close out. Thank you so much to everyone who went on to iTunes, who subscribed to the podcast, who rated us 5 stars, who left us a review. You are the reason we get to stay on the air as an after show, because our producers do go on to iTunes, they do look at these reviews, and if they say, hey, a whole bunch of people really like this show, we should keep it despite the odd airing schedule, we get to stay, and we get to come back every other week and talk about RWBY. And, you know, occasionally the people who work on the show see the reviews as well, and that really super helps us. So if you want to support us and keep us going, best thing you can do, go to iTunes, search AfterBuzz TV RWBY, subscribe to the podcast, rate us 5 stars, leave us a review, and if you do leave us a review, you get a shout out like this. Stumbled on it, ... great, by Wilkins75. I stumbled on this podcast and AfterBuzz in general and spent a while listening to their old podcast and being amazed at who they got on. I now listen not only to RWBY, but Star Wars Rebels and Game of Thrones when it comes back. The hosts are funny, and while sometimes they go off topic, that can sometimes bring their funniest moments. See, they referenced Admiral Thrawn the Wedding Planner, which is a Star Wars Rebels thing. Yeah, great show. You will love it, and go find other shows you like and listen to them. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's incredibly cool.
We adore you. So, yeah, leave a review, get a shout out on the show. In the meantime, I think that is all we have for today. Thank you to everyone who is in the hashtag. Thank you to everyone who is in the live chat. If you still want to talk about this before we come back in 2 weeks' time on December 29th, throw in the hashtag. We do check that even on the off days. Where can the people find you guys?
You can find me at P to the D's on Twitter. Please tweet at me asking about drinking tips, who I should hit on at parties, and maybe who I should leave with from the RWBY crew. I host a bunch of nonsense here. You can find it all on Twitter.
All right, you can find me on Twitter as well at Stacey Shuttles. I would like to be on all of his tips because
Yes.
they sound hilarious.
Real dumb. Real dumb.
I'm very excited to hear them.
Oh my god, and we have the Yuri on Ice show.
Yes, Yuri on Ice. We are starting up on this Monday, the 19th at 7. We're going to be covering episodes 1 and 2. So if you want to come and cry about Yuri on Ice with me,
I'll be there.
join us there.
I'll be in the chat.
There's a lot
Encouraging
of
you guys.
feelings
Yeah.
to be had about this show.
See?
So many feels,
Constantly.
400 feels. And I'm Katie Cullen. You can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, and YouTube at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. If you're interested in seeing Megan and I react to these shows fresh, that is the YouTube channel is where you can find those videos. I'm also on Snapchat at Kia Prime. Almost everything that I'm doing is on seasonal hiatus for now, but we do have the Z Nation season finale Sunday at 7 p.m. We are also going to be covering Voltron when it comes back in January, so keep an eye out for that scheduling. And your next RWBY episode is going to be 2 weeks from today, so December 29th. We will see you then.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.